Hello there, and a very Merry Christmas to all of you. This is going to be my Christmas message. In the same sort of tradition as the royal family give a Christmas message on Christmas Day, I thought I should be doing a similar sort of thing. And so, without any sort of airs and graces or sense of self-importance, here is Andy Edwards' Christmas message to you. And in this video I'm going to be talking a little bit about the year in music, and also I will be talking a little bit about Christmas itself and what I feel we're heading to in the new year. I haven't planned this at all really, but I wasn't actually going to put a video out on Christmas Day, but then I thought, and the reason for that is, I tell you why the real reason for that is just because I'm involved in that Christmas stress of trying to get presents, put trees up, make sure I've got enough money in the bank to pay for all this stuff. And the days running up to Christmas Day, when obviously I'm filming this, because believe it or not, this is not live, this has been recorded. It's actually today is the 22nd of December I'm filming this on, to spoil the illusion for you. But my schedule is so tight that I didn't think I would actually have any space to film anything for Christmas Day, days. But I've just hit a little bit of a lull, right? And I've made myself a nice cup of chamomile tea. Apparently chamomile tea is very good for anxiety and stress, and I feel I need it at this time of year. And I do. The irony of everybody trying to walk around having Christmas spirit, and there seems to be people who are loving it, and they're walking around the shops whistling, they're tooting their horns as they sit in a gridlock traffic jam. I've been stuck this morning in 2 gridlock traffic jams. The first because I was trying to get an orthopedic pillow for my mother-in-law, and the second one whereas I was going to try and get some baby bath toys from the toy shop, and I couldn't even get to the toy shop, and then trying to get back out of the car park, I was stuck there for half an hour. And so I do feel, to be honest, a resentment against Christmas. That's exactly how I feel. I'm sure on the day when you're watching this and I've woken up in the morning and I've got my pair of socks that I've been given by whoever, and maybe a new bottle of aftershave if I'm lucky, after forking out £1,000 to get presents for everybody. Once I get to that point, maybe, as I sit there eating the quality street that nobody else wanted, the hard toffee ones perhaps, and then those funny, red, cherry ones that are a bit too sweet for anybody. As I sit there munching on those, maybe I'll be in a bit of frame of mind. But here we are a few days before, and it's a very stressful thing. And I feel as though I should not be stressful. And why do I feel like I shouldn't be that? So I am putting on an act of being full of Christmas cheer. And lo and behold, as I start to talk to you, I realise in the cathartic manner that these YouTubers now become, where it has really become a confessional to you, and I just open up the inner unconscious, ramblings and rumblings that I have in my head. As I let forth those, I realise the resentment I have of having to get through this pile of awful rubbish. But we're through it. So if you're a Christmassy person, switch off now. If you don't want to hear a bunch of negativity, but you are going to get some negativity on this video, right? I sat down just now to tell you about the year in music. I don't give a toss about the year in music. I don't care whether Peter Gabriel's brought an album out. I don't really care if Stephen Wilson's brought an album out. I just don't care, right? Same old, same old. I had to listen to them. They're all right, I just, the things that are going on in music that are interesting are not to be found there, I'm afraid, right? And I will get onto that. This is going to be pretty negative. And of course, I shouldn't be doing it on Christmas Day. I sat down here and I thought to myself, don't be negative. Don't be a Scrooge. Now, this is quite interesting to me. Come on, chamomile tea. This is going to be if you don't kick in soon. It's absolutely horrible. I like a nice cup of Earl Grey, not this chamomile rubbish. But I read on the internet it's good for stress, so I went and got some. It reminds me, those of you who live in the UK, in the 70s we had a TV show, children's TV show called The Wombles, and the Wombles lived on Wimbledon Common, underground and sometimes overground. And on that show they used to drink bracken tea. And I as a kid was just thinking, well, that doesn't sound very nice. But I suppose if you're a Womble, that's the best you're going to get. And they've made the best of what they've got, haven't they? They've gone out to Wimbledon Common. There is no actual tea growing on Wimbledon Common, and so, you know, they have decided to make their tea out of bracken. Now, it could be, if you're a Womble, that bracken tastes delicious in a tea, but I always used to imagine that that tea had a certain taste to it. And here I am, 50 years later, and I'm pretty sure, oh God, what am I doing? That's just bloody disgusting. No wonder it was £2.50. Right, so if you moan about Christmas, you will get called a Scrooge. Obviously, Scrooge is a character in the Christmas Carol, and I believe that the Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens is the greatest story ever written. It's greater than Lord of the Rings. It's greater than Harry Potter, right? It's greater than The Eagle Has Landed, right? Which is one of the few books I read when I was a kid. It's an incredible book which really tries to deal with, you know, how we deal with traumatic events from our youth as we get older. That's the real subtext of A Christmas Carol. But of course, Scrooge being so grumpy that is then put on anybody that questions the meaning of this holiday festival that we are currently going through at the moment. And to me, it's pretty obvious that in a capitalist society, if they didn't have this thing now, the economy would crash, wouldn't it? We've all been forced through the use of a 19th century fictional character to go out and spend money we haven't got on things that we don't need and we don't want, all right? And buy food that will only be bad for us, and travel to places which might be nice, but we all know that we will be stuck in the worst queues trying to get there. I cannot see the benefit of Christmas anymore. Now, this is probably because I'm 55 years old, and this is currently my 56th Christmas. And I'm an old guy, maybe, as everyone says who's old, it's for kids, really. It's just for kids, you know, kids love it. Well, I can remember being equally stressed up when I was a youngster, you know, hoping that I would get the present that I'd asked for. If I got the present that I asked for, it was just merely the sense of relief. But when I didn't get the presents, and I can remember many a Christmas, and this is nothing against my parents that slogged and saved to go out and buy us a whole bunch of toys, right? But if I didn't get what I want, I can remember that. How many of you remember that feeling of sitting down after your Christmas dinner, and those in the UK, the Queen comes on to do her talk, and it all goes calm, doesn't it? You know, and your dad's there cracking Brazil nuts over in the corner, and your mom's moaning about, like, the fact that she's had to do all this cooking and now she's got to do all the washing up, no one's helping her. And whilst this is going on, you collect together your presents to review the spoils of the day. And so you probably have in there that your auntie would have given you a special tin of shortbread with an illustration on the tin. That would be one of your presents. Well, you know, when you're like 10 years old, I mean, what does that mean? I didn't even like shortbread when I was a kid, so that one's there. Then you get the felt tips. We would have the felt tips that you knew as soon as you felt it, you could feel that sort of panpipe effect as you ran your fingers up and down. And, oh, there's my felt tips. Now, in terms of use, the felt tips were probably the thing that I was going to get the most out of my presents. And I knew by the time I went back to school that I would be cracking open those felt tips to take out the actual felt heart itself, to then just to try and get the last bit of colour juice out of that felt pen. You know, obviously black would go out straight away. We'd lose that, you know. And so, you know, so I put the felt tips aside. Then I'd have the annuals. So I'd have a looking annual, maybe a Beano annual. So I'd put those, a Doctor Who annual. If I was lucky, I got $6 Million Man annual, which is the one I want. I was obsessed with the $6 Million Man when I was young. And so then I would have whatever toy I'd been asking for. Maybe some sort of action man that I hadn't got. Maybe it was the Sailor, because I got all the rest and I'd left the Sailor till last. Maybe it was a Spider-Man, and maybe it was a $6 Million Man, you know, the one with the big strange eye that you could look through. And those, that it used to have this sort of rubber skin that you could roll back and see the little workings, the bionic workings in his arms. And I can remember, usually by the end of January, that I'd rolled back that sort of rubber skin so many times that it had, I wish I hadn't said that now, that it had all was peeling off. I can remember playing my $6 Million Man action figure so much that his clothes had fallen to bits. And I said to my mum, I said, my $6 Million Man is now naked. And I don't like it. He's just standing around with just his plastic, you know, pants on. And I don't like it. And she said, well, I'll knit him an outfit. And she knitted him like a jumper and trousers out of this sort of white, chunky, Fair Isle knit. What do you call that stuff? That what do you knit with? Wool. That's the one. That's going to be the best blank mind I've had on this channel. Yeah, with this chunky Fair Isle wool. She knit this jumper that when I put on, it couldn't actually put his arms down because they were so thick. And anyway, as I would stare at maybe my Action Man figure and my not my panpipes, and my felt tips, maybe some plasticine, shortbread, Brazil nuts in a red net, you know, bag, couple of annuals, I would look at that, and although my parents had spent that hard-earned money and the sweat of going out and collecting all this together with the intention of, you know, really trying to please me, I couldn't help but feel that sinking feeling of Christmas. Now, I don't know whether this is because, as a sort of creative type, I'm a troubled soul. And maybe normal people don't have a reaction to Christmas like this. But that was pretty much my... all I can say is Christmas to me when I was little was a letdown. That's what Christmas was. And Christmas now is just stress on every single level. So I'm sure those of you who are watching this now, you know, and if you're watching this on Christmas Day, my God, what is going on your day that you have now set aside time to come and watch this video of me saying how awful Christmas is? So what I'm guessing is if you were watching this, if your life is in such a way that you've ended up resorting to this as entertainment on Christmas Day, then hopefully that will filter out the lovely happy ones that are now pulling Christmas crackers and kissing their relatives and loving being in this wonderful celebration of winter coziness and the birth of the Saviour, you know. As they sit down to watch, you know, the Doctor Who special that will be on BBC One, no doubt, right? But for those of you who have just had to endure watching all the money you've spent, going on a great big Christmas dinner that you were full from halfway through, whilst looking at all the presents that you've given and recognising the resignation as people feign happiness at getting those socks or getting that scented candle or getting whatever it is that you've passed on, that you only bought not out of the joy of wanting to make people happy, but to assuage the guilt of being a Scrooge. Being a Scrooge. If you're one of those people who sat there now holding down the anger as that relative that you don't see, that you have to see on Christmas Day, is saying all those things that you get on your nerves, you know, all those, what's the passive aggressive little questions that they ask that relatives will ask, you know. So, if you're one of those people, I'm hoping that this video will be a bit of cathartic anti-Christmas spirit. Okay? Anti-Christmas spirit. That's what you've got on this video. And I'm going to try and cater. No one else on Christmas Day is going to try and cater for the anti-Christmas spirit. The Scrooges out there that absolutely hate this ridiculous festival of capitalism and guilt assuagement. All right? Tomorrow will be Boxing Day. Tomorrow you will probably be eating the leftovers and thinking it's a great thing that you're eating leftovers. Oh, I do like a bit of turkey stuffing on a sandwich. I'm so stuffed from yesterday, I don't need to eat much. And I mean, we've got a kitchen full of Brazil nuts and mince pies, haven't we? And I like a mince pie, but I've now eaten 57 of them, and really, you know, it's basically fruit in a pie, isn't it? You know, sorry, my head's filling with it. Boxing Day. Boxing Day is when you go and see the relatives that aren't quite important enough to see on Christmas Day. They're the ones that you really don't like, and you have to go out then and drive out to wherever it is and sit there with your. It's like Christmas Day, but everything that bad is amped up. It's all amped up. So really now you are pulling into the bag of presents that you just really didn't want to get, but because you've got to go around and see these people, you've got to now give them the presents, and they give you the presents, and you open it up and you go, yes, socks. Now I need socks. I need aftershave. I need a set of like body sprays. I'm a smelly person, right? If it wasn't for Christmas, I would stink, because I would have the same rotten socks, no aftershave, no washing stuff, and it's the only time I get it. But for me, this has become like a necessity. So when I get given these toiletries after spending out hundreds and thousands of pounds on stuff that I've bought for the kids and for the family members and all this type of stuff, and so must have this and so must have that. So in return, the deal is I spend out all that, and then I get my toiletries for the first 3 months of the year, and then I could try and get by to the rest of the year. And by the time I get here, end of December, I am stinking. I'm rank. I haven't got anything. I'm on budget deodorants. That's what I'm on. Look, I haven't shaved. I was going to, but I got none. I haven't got one. I had so many shaving foams at the beginning of the year. I haven't got any, so now I'm going to do a bit of the old soap. Why don't you go and buy some? Because I'm spending all my money buying a load of crud for everybody else. You know what you need to do, Andy? You need to get away. You need to go book yourself a holiday. Oh yeah, that's going to happen. As though I can get out of this by going and sitting somewhere. And where am I going to sit? On a beach? At Christmas, sat on a beach, right? Spending even more money, right? There is nothing about it that I like. God, I didn't mean to say this. I'm so sorry. I was going to tell. I thought, go and do a Christmas message. I said at the beginning my intention on this video was to talk about bloody what's happened in the year. This musically, because it's a music channel, and you don't come here to just have an old bloke moaning about how much he hates Christmas. It's not what you come for. You come for discussions about music. It's like, I've got some knowledge of music. I can add, I hope, something a little bit wise to the conversation. But my opinion about Christmas is irrelevant. That's the whole point. I become an irrelevance at Christmas, right? I become an irrelevance. I just become this machine that has to get through it, and I have to plan like a military operation my days as I get up and say, right, I'm now going to get a turkey. Once I've got a turkey, I've still got to get that makeup for my daughter, and once I've got that, there's that special pillow I've got to get, and my God, I've got to factor in the fact that every shop I go to, I'm going to be stuck in a queue in a car for literally half an hour. As you try and push your way through the crowd of these sort of zombie-like capitalist puppets, trudging from shop to shop, handing over their card over and over again as their bank accounts drain down into the overdraft, and the banks start to get all that lovely money back at them through the interest rates. The interest rates are so high at the moment. Cost of living is so high at the moment. We've gone through one of the worst years in my living memory. We're about to go into a recession, and the government's going, I hope that we can just get out of this recession, if we can just fool the people into buying crud they don't need. That's what makes it all work for us. We need these little robots to be out there doing their thing, buying their stuff. We don't want them going out. They've got to stay in their house, not go out, not say anything, not to think anything. They can't really rock the boat. We'll give them 2 political parties that are identical. They can choose between the one and have the illusion of a democracy, right? And we'll just make sure that in their heads, through the bloody use of a 19th century literary character, they will be forced, even if they know it, even if they're aware of what the bloody con is, they will still be doing it. Not at any other time of year where you see so many people trudging away doing this thing that they don't need to do, right? But how could I not do it? How could I not do it? I've got to do it. Because it's blackmail. It's emotional blackmail. Look, I'm sat here with these idiotic... I put these up to try and make a bloody festive video. You stupid... Look at him. What is this about? 'Twas the night before Christmas. A bloody bear with glasses reading a book. What does he do? Does he talk? Has he got any sound coming out of him? Oh, God. Get down there, you, and bloody this religious indoctrination that we put on our kids. You buy one of these things, right, that you don't need, and you stick him there, and then you tell the kids that that's a magic elf, and he will then go out and do something in the night. The kids go to bed, the next morning they get up, and the elf's moved, and he's suddenly eating mince pies. Well, I'll bloody stick him over there. Oh, I got Christmas. Where's my Christmas pudding? Oh, these are all left over from last year. Last year, if you go back to last year, if you want a nice Christmas video, I did an hour-long Christmas video. I sang songs and I did all sorts of things, and I went through all the great customs of Christmas and said how much I liked them. And then I put in the background this ridiculous fake Christmas pudding that makes this sound. Right, see that? That's desperation, that is. Desperation. I've got a gong over there, by the way. Special gong. If you do get stressed out, and you can see that chamomile tea didn't do any good whatsoever, the best thing is to buy yourself a gong, right? Because you won't get one for Christmas. Nobody will get you a gong for Christmas. You're not going to get up on Christmas and go, what's this big round thing I've been bought? What is it? Oh my God, it's a gong. I really wanted a gong. If you get a gong, then when you're stressed, you can then throw the object at the gong, and as it hits, that sound that you just had, that whoosh, is a magical sound. You heard of gong baths that middle class people have? They pot lots of money to lie in a room while some bloody hippified middle class elite person bangs gongs, and they sit there bathing in the sound, and it's supposed to do something for you. Oh, bloody hell. I'll do something for them. And give some of that money to me. I'm going to get a bloody gong. I'm doing gong baths next year. I'm going to get out and do some gong baths. I've got a bit of a reputation on here on YouTube. Does that sound like a good business plan? Because I tell you something, the whole thing's falling to bits at the moment, isn't it? It's falling to bits on every single front. Where are we going to be next year? What are we celebrating? Oh, what a year. I'm supposed to sit here and talk about music when this year has seen 2 awful wars start up. It's seen the country slip into recessions. It's seen people become more divided rather than more together, right? It's seen so many... What's happened is legacy media is dying. It's all happening on here. It's all about this. So the legacy media is trying to pull us in, and they pull us in by terrifying us with their terrible news of how bad the world is. But I tell you something, the world is not bad. The world is a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. Nature's a beautiful thing. And we've always got to hold on to the idea of hope. That things will renew. They always do. They always renew. Right? And when you do these ridiculous things, like you put your Christmas tree up and you decorate your Christmas tree, you festoon it with what seems like jewels and lights, right? That Christmas tree represents hope, and it represents the future. It represents the fact that we might be stuck in this awful winter. And not just the actual winter, but we might be in a metaphorical winter right now. But it will only get better. And it will only get better if we manifest it. Right? The future's going to happen because we make it happen. It can't, it's like in terms of human beings, if we all woke up dead tomorrow, the whole world is gone, then the future's something else. And the future's for moss and snails and, whatever. Sharks, and they'll all be breathing a sigh of relief and going, bloody hell, that was a bit hectic, wasn't it? And shall we just get back onto it? Yeah, do your thing. And all the entrails, nature's entrails will wind their way into everything we've created, and within a blink of a cosmic eye it will all be gone, except for the foundations of the Hoover Dam and a few stones for the Egyptian pyramids and maybe the foundations of the Great Wall of China. Stone, hard stone. Everything else apart from stone that we have created is ephemeral. It will go, right? And we have to realize that. We have to realize that we are part of a cosmic system which is trying to move upwards, and we're trying to move upwards. And the only way to do that is to manifest that. We have to manifest that by imagining it. All right? So I think as I get to the end of this video, because I think I'm going to finish now, I'm not going to talk about, I'm going to do another video where I talk about the year in music. I'll do that straight after this. I'll break it up. This is my Christmas message. That underneath is all, I am aware in the Christmas Carol when I read that idea of at any age there's hope and redemption. That the reasons why people carry the pain and anxiety that they have is because of the stuff that's happened to them. And by facing that, by looking at the past and examining that, and then looking at the present and seeing where you are right now, and then looking into the future, right? By doing that and confronting that at this time of year as the clock moves from one year to the next, by confronting that thing, we can have some sort of cathartic experience that moves us forward. And on this video I have attempted, although I didn't plan it, I have attempted to create some sort of cathartic effect about Christmas. Right? If it's stressing you out, it's not right. Okay? We need to really focus on other aspects of Christmas, but which deep down I do appreciate immensely. And for me, the greatest thing about Christmas has always been the thought of it. And the thought is of being in a safe place and set up where you are ready to go forward positively into the new year. And the way you go forward positively is by showing love to your people around you, right? And so remember, when somebody gives you those socks, or they give you that Lynx deodorant set, okay, is although they knew they had to do it, they thought that you were important enough to buy it for them, or buy it for you. So I hope, as you're watching this, that you're not sat there like me at 8 years old, feeling that sense of resentment, let down at what the day had given me. All right, let's just thank God for what we have got. Shall we do that? Say it to yourself right now. Thank God, thank the universe, thank the infinite, thank nothing. The nothingness that is out there in the chaotic abyss. But thank it for what you have got. Thanks for watching this video. That was my Christmas message. I'll see you on the new year probably. Bye bye.